ID. So inside a directory, I created a directory called record.js game, alright? And I'm going to create a new file called index.html. Alright? Inside of index.html, we're going to create our simple boilerplate. So HTML head title JS game development. Then on a body. Inside the body, we're gonna have an H1 that says JavaScript Game Development. Right? Then we're gonna have a canvas element. Alright, I remember that new element I talked about. Canvas. And I'm just gonna give an ID of main-canvas. So we can reference it in JavaScript. And then we just want to attach our JavaScript file, app.js, which we haven't created. We're going to go ahead and create it right now. So, app.js. Alright. Now, what I want to do is have some very tiny styling. Alright, just for our canvas. So, I'm going to have a dot slash. Now, what am I doing? A hashtag main-canvas, remembers an ID, canvas. And I'm going to put a border of 2 pixels, solid black. Alright, and that should be it, hopefully. So now I'm just going to open this in the side, and boom, that's it. So, exactly. Now what I want to do is also open this with live server. Alright, so I went ahead and opened this with live server. And the only what you could have done is use the Visual Studio Code live server if you have the extension. But I have an npm package which is called live server, which opens any directory in live server, which is incredible. You should definitely check it out. And then in app.js, all I want to do is really something basic, alright? And the first thing I want to start with is just referencing our canvas. So let's do const canvas is equal to document query selector, and I want to select our main-canvas. There. Alright. And let's go ahead and explore the console to see what's good in it. Oh, console. Alright. So first of all, we want to console log canvas. Forgot to do that. Canvas. There we go. So we're just getting the element. Alright. And it's a normal element. You can clearly see it's nothing like complicated or something, right? So basically that should be it. And let's go look at the type of canvas. It's an object, alright? So this canvas is an object, alright? You gotta know that. Which is basically, it's like, so if it's part of like, what's it called? Like, it's part of object-oriented programming, objects and all. So do not worry if you don't understand this right now. We'll get into those later. Alright? And here it is. So this border is to define the height and width of our canvas. So we can actually make this larger. So inside the canvas element, put a width. And I'm going to set it to 200 pixels. And a height of 300 pixels. And this should change, otherwise, or no pixel, I think. Right? 500? Weird. Alright, so this is technically supposed to work. Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. There we go. Okay, so I had it in my closing tag, so 500. So we want the width to be 500, the height to be 200, 500. Let's make it like 600. There we go. That looks kind of better. Alright, so we'll have 600 by 500. Alright, now we can go back to app.js. And what I want to do is, how do we get stuff on here? So first of all, isn't the web browser 2D technically? So let's do context. So we want to create a context, which is basically that will define what type, like, it's like anything that we create, alright? It has to be 2D basically. So we'll say canvas.get context, alright? And we'll say 2D. Now, anytime you create something, alright, let me just make this larger. Let's just start with a simple ctx dot stroke rect, right? Hope to spell it right. And I'm gonna do 20, 20, 20, 20. Do not worry if you don't understand. But guess what we got? A square. Ooh. So the first thing you may be like, well, what does do these commands mean and why do you make me do them? So this is what we're doing. We want to get the canvas, all right? And then we want to add to it, all right? So we want to stroke a rectangle, stroke rectangle. Basically, so there's 3 types of strokes you can do, but before we get to those, I want to talk about this. This is part of the grid lesson I did last, all right? So basically, what is going on here, you may be like. So exactly what's going on would be that I'm going to go ahead and talk about this, but I'm also going to do it on the Blackboard. But here's what it means. So anything that you have in these parentheses. So the first one in here is going to be x value, your y, and then you have your width, and then you have your height. Alright? So I'm going to show you guys in the Blackboard quickly. Alright, so this might be a little small, but let's go and look at the command that we're using last. The stroke rec xy with height. Alright? So remember when I talked about the canvas, alright? So let me just draw this a little more straighter. That may not be the straightest. Alright? So here's our canvas, alright? Now, inside of it, we can draw anything according to the x-axis and the y-axis, alright? So anything that we draw has to be within according to x and y. And then for each thing that we draw, we can have a width and we can have a height. Alright? So those things are going to determine this element right here. Alright? So the width will make it longer, the height will make it taller. Alright, so basically, this is your width. This is your height. Alright, so you gotta remember this. So basically, if I wanted a, let's just say, so I'm gonna just clear this. I want a, let's see, I'm gonna draw like something I want. So I want to position this at, let's just say this is positioned at 3200. Alright, so this is my x, this is my y. And the width of this is 50, the height of this is, I don't know, 20. Alright, how would we write this? So we'll first of all declare the command of stroked rect. But there goes something before this, if you remember, and that's our CTX, our context in a period, right? Which we're attaching a method to it. And then we'll go ahead, define our x and y, so 30, 200. The x and y apply to where this point starts, all right? 3200, and then we want our width, which is 50, our height is 20, and then we can go on and close our parentheses, all right? So our command will look like ctx dot stroke rect, and then it'll be 30, 200, 50, 20, all right? So I want you to start understanding. So now, for every single type of rect method there is, all right, it's going to follow the same x, y, w, h formula, all right? So if you can just remember this, it'll make your life so much easier when we're drawing rectangles onto the screen, all right? All right, so I was going to talk about there's 3 types, all right? So there is 3 types of rectangles you can draw, all right? So rectangles, all right, forgot how to spell this. So the first type that we can draw will be an outline one, which is called the stroke one. Then if you want a color-filled one, so we want fill, that's going to be called the fill one also. Alright, so we're just going to say color fill. And then the third one is a transparent one, which we'll just say clear. Alright, now this just me telling you won't do any good to you. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. So we have our first one here. Now let's gonna draw a fill, alright? so we're going to go ahead and start with ctx dot fill rect. And where do you want to place it? I want to place it on 30, 30. So x and y 30. My width, I want it to be 20. Let's do 120. And my height to be 120. There we go. So by default, our color is going to be black for everything that we make. Alright, but I don't want it black. Alright, I want it to be something else. So in this case, before your rectangle, alright, so let me just make sure this is a fill colored one. Alright, before your rectangle, we're going to define ctx dot fill style is equal to green. Let's just say. I think I like green. We can make this red. We can even make these the hashtag colors. Alright, so really, let's just stick to red for now. Alright, so if we have red now. So the first thing that you may actually really notice is, well, for every single one I create, do I have to specify this? So if I have another fill rect, if I want it to be at, let's see, 70, 25, 125, 125. Alright, let's just say I want it there, exact. Or we can actually make it take down a bit. So, hold it. Messed up again, sorry. 300. There we go, let's just make sure I want it. Now you may be like, this is red. Alright, so everything that's below this command, anything that you do is going to be filled with that color. But this is the context. This is the global context, alright? So basically anything assigned globally is going to be there. Alright, so let's just say I want to change the color. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to make it green. Boom. Alright, so every time you want to change the color, you want to put it right before that. Now let's talk about the third one, which is the clear one. Alright, I'm going to quickly try my MacBook, but don't worry, I will. To make a clear one, so now we cannot really see the clear one because it's going to be 100% transparent. But we can put it inside of one of these squares, alright? So let's try to do that. So I'm going to do ctx dot clear rect, and let's see if our, let's do it inside of this red one. So if it's at 30, so we're gonna do anywhere from 60, 60. So our x can be 60, y can be 60, and we'll make it 10, 10. Boom. Here's our clear one right here. So I can increase the width, height, sorry, 50, and then make this also 50. Alright, so this is one thing that the clear one's good for, is basically cutting holes, if you get what I mean. So let me just make this 65, 65. Alright, so that's what it's kind of good for, is for like making transparency inside of this, like having clear things inside. Alright, so we're just going to quickly practice this just a couple more times. So I'm going to do ctx dot, let's do a stroke rect. Alright, and I'm going to say at 25, 25. But this time I want it to be 100, 100. Alright, boom. So we can actually create some cool stuff with this. So if you put your mind really together, and you actually, so at this point I will highly suggest that you get some graph paper. Alright, so it's called graph paper. Alright, and then try to sketch out what you want to draw on there. Alright, so you're going to try to sketch out what you want to draw, and then try to draw it on the canvas. Alright, and remember that, so I don't have my blackboard right now, but basically vertical is, right, horizontal is x, vertical is y. Alright, so see if you can create something amazing with this at the moment. Alright, because right now you don't know much except these rectangle commands. Alright, so in the next video, hopefully we'll get into paths, which are going to allow you to create even better stuff besides rectangles, because rectangles, they can get pretty boring pretty easily.